Wicked and crooked officers are all around, but what unfolds when they finally get exposed?
I can't believe what you're telling me.
Detective Michael Neely was discovered in a hotel room perched atop the lifeless body of his police chief. Mike and his superior, Johnny Miller, had traveled for a convention, and one evening they went out in search of some drinks. But after a heavy night of boozing, Mike came to in police custody and was promptly brought to the exact same room where he had spent the past decade questioning suspects, only this time, he wasn't the one doing the asking.
So tell me, Mike, you guys flew out of Tulsa?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, okay. And to Pensacola?
Yep.
Was it a direct flight?
Yep.
Where'd you guys stop? Alright, and then from there?
Got to the hotel and that's it.
Mike is giving brief replies, which is a smart choice in this scenario, but it's arguable whether it's because he realizes it's the wisest tactic or simply because he's still severely hungover.
Any problems or anything going on with the crowd, just dinner? Any drinks there? Or just
A couple beers.
was it a early dinner, late dinner, or what?
Very early. It was only thing it was dark yet.
Tell me what you guys did once you got back to the hotel.
About it. Just watched football game. That was a Dallas game. Sorry.
Mike claimed the evening involved a football match and a few beers, but in truth, things escalated far beyond that. Tests indicate that both individuals had blood alcohol concentrations around or exceeding 0.3. Put it into context, a level of 0.4 is commonly recognized as a deadly amount. At 0.3, alcohol poisoning is probable, a condition that can cause unconsciousness or even be lethal. Regardless, both men would have been entirely incapable of controlling their feelings and behaviors, likely resulting in the terrifying incident that unfolded that night.
Do you remember hotel staff or hotel boy coming with and you guys keep it down?
I don't remember that.
So what is the last thing you remember as far as that evening up until the football game?
I mean, I know you're asking me questions, but can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, homicide. Who is dead?
It's dead.
Dead.
Yes, sir.
I guess I probably don't have anything else to say then. I've got nothing to say to you.
Mike was first informed he was taken in for a murder inquiry, but only now learns that it's his police chief, Miller, who passed away. Keep in mind, Mike was so intoxicated the night before that he almost definitely recalls nothing. Realizing how serious his situation is, he chooses to exercise his right to remain silent, telling the officers he has nothing more to share. These are seasoned investigators, and they're about to use every bit of their professional expertise.
Michael, you'd be in charge of second-degree murder.
Okay. I had no idea what I was being charged with.
Yeah, you'd be in charge of second-degree murder, and you're fixing to be booked in the Skinny County Jail with no bond. And we've already notified your wife.
Okay.
And
The victim, I'm assuming.
yes. Do you have any questions for us?
I mean, I've got 1,000 of them, but I mean, it really doesn't make it.
Well, I mean, sure it does. I mean, if you want to talk, we'll sit here and listen to you talk. I mean, we'd love to know what the heck happened. But I mean, that's up to you. I mean, we'll answer your questions, in return. So,
I would love to know what happened to.
well, I mean, do you want to continue to talk to us? If you do, then I mean, we'll tell you what happened.
I mean, I would love. I would like to know what happened. Because I'm telling you, I don't have any memory of any of this shit, and I'm shocked.
You want to continue talking to us?
Yeah, I mean, I'll continue to talk. I'd like to know what happened.
The detectives use two methods here to convince Mike to stick around. First, they remind him of the situation he's in, practically warning him about the consequences he's currently facing. Then, they ask if he has any questions for them. Clearly, knowing that Mike has no memory of the prior night's happenings, he'll be desperate to uncover what went down and whether there's any chance out of it for him. Picture waking up in a jail cell being told you're headed to prison for murdering your boss while blacked out. You'd do anything to reconstruct the night's events. Mike is beginning to understand that's his only path forward. Watch how his attitude shifts as he starts to almost take part in solving his own case.
I'm trying to get you to figure out what's the last thing you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And if the last thing you remember was watching football, do you remember drinking?
Yep.
Okay. You drinking the vodka?
Yeah, I drank some vodka. Yep.
So,
Mhm.
well, the first call came a little bit after 6, I believe. One of the guys that was in the room next to you didn't say you guys were arguing, just being loud, just laughing, yelling, probably. So the next noise complaint came out about 9 minutes till 10. This time he can't get anybody to come to the door. All he hears, he's knocking. He hears just grumbling, grunting, uses his car to get in, is on the ground between the bed and the wall. You are sitting on his chest. His face is beaten. The statement that was given by the second noise complaint could hear a male saying, "Mike, stop, Mike, stop." And then it just went quiet.
Mike repeats that he has absolutely no recollection of the incident and harbored no hostility toward Miller at any time. However, he also never expresses any regret. He simply sits there bewildered and clearly only worried about himself, continually saying he just can't wrap his head around what happened. The officers reveal a few more details about Miller's body and make a serious effort to get Mike to recall anything at all about the incident, but he remains seated in total shock.
I mean, you can't think of anything that would have triggered you to jump on?
Nothing. It's nothing. It's unbelievable.
You got any questions for us, Mike, before we get you close straight?
No, I guess I'm getting booked into jail and
Yep, we're gonna get you booked in the jail and put in special housing over there so that you're not back there with the heads and stuff.
right.
And protective custody. You're not wanting to harm yourself or anything, are you?
No.
Michael Neely was ultimately locked up and later handed a life sentence for second-degree murder, but he took the news shockingly calmly. He simply sat there and accepted that his life was essentially finished. In stark contrast to that, the dishonest actions of Police Captain James French stood out. He was busted for driving under the influence and trailed back to his home by an officer. What happened next was one of the boldest displays of police misconduct ever recorded on video.
Stay in your vehicle. Get back in your car. Drunk? Huh? A what? A what? The big, don't reach in your pocket. Get back in your car. Have a seat.
I will. I'm not.
You been drinking tonight?
I just got a ride.
You've been drinking tonight, sir.
I'm a captain of the police department.
What police department?
Oklahoma City.
What division?
Investigations.
How much we had to drink tonight, sir?
Please.
Huh? I'm not turning my camera off.
Okay.
This man isn't just intoxicated, he's completely wasted, even to the extent that he believes the camera can't pick up his whispers. But despite the captain's begging, the officer declines to shut off his camera and proceeds with the investigation.
Go ahead and step out of the vehicle. You gotta be kidding me. How much we drink tonight, sir?
I was at a poker game.
Uh-huh. Because you're swerving all over. You didn't turn up here, you didn't use your signal.
I'm sorry.
How much you drink at your poker game?
Not much.
Not much? How much is not much?
I don't know.
Beer, liquor. How many beers?
3 or 4.
3 or 4? How long ago was that?
It's been going on a while.
How long ago did you drink your last beer, sir?
What time is it now?
It's 0140.
Midnight.
You think you should drive it?
No, but I came from 4 blocks.
Your mom lives here.
I live here.
You live here.
Yes.
Pull into the rear of your vehicle.
Okay.
You got any weapons or anything on you?
I do not, sir.
Those must have been some potent beers, as he was not only slurring his speech but also reportedly weaving across both lanes on his way home. The captain is then frisked and instructed to stand in the open while being tested for balance and sobriety.
Hands down by your side, please. Look straight ahead. You see the tip of my pen, sir?
I do.
I want you to follow the tip of my pen without moving your head, okay? Just a little bit more. I'm going to demonstrate for you first. While I'm demonstrating, I want you to stand with your feet together, hands down by your side, just like this. All right, sir? What's your name?
Matt French.
Matt French. Mr. French, stand just like that. When I tell you to begin, okay, I'm just going to demonstrate for you first. I want you to pick a foot of your choosing. It doesn't matter if it's your left or your right foot.
I'm familiar.
And I want you to lift it approximately 6 inches off the ground. And while you look at your toe, I want you to count by 1,000. It's 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, so on and so forth until I tell you to stop. At any point in time you lose your balance or your foot touches the ground, just go ahead and pick your foot back up and continue to count, okay? Do you understand these instructions I've explained to you, Mr. French? You may begin.
Sir,
Go on. I cannot, sir. I know you're aware of our body cam policy. You know I cannot turn on this body cam.
But I'd like to talk to you.
I can't begin, sir.
Please.
Are you going to do the test or not?
Will you please talk to me?
I'll talk to you once
You
we're
can
done.
turn it off and turn it on.
I can turn it off once I'm done with my investigations.
Okay. I'm a captain on the police department.
I understand that, sir.
I get
And I am
that.
a sergeant on this police officer.
I
I
am
take
not.
an oath to uphold the law.
I
don't
am
show
not.
favoritism to anyone, regardless. I
I-
don't care if you're a gangbanger or the president of the United States.
Sir, I'm not asking for that.
If I was to treat you differently than I was to treat like some Southside loco or some pedo, how's that look on me?
Okay, I'm not asking for that.
Because I wouldn't do that for any of them.
Even as the captain pleads for him to switch off the camera and just talk, the officer holds firm and explains that he must treat everyone equally or risk his career and livelihood. He demonstrates an impressive level of integrity that, sadly, we rarely witness, probably because of individuals like this trying to exert authority. They then proceed with the third and last test, which involves simply walking heel to toe for 10 steps.
Alright, anytime you're ready, you may begin.
1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Go ahead and turn around for me. Put your hands behind your back.
Are you gonna arrest me, sir?
Yes, I am.
Can I talk to you?
Go ahead and put your hands behind your back, sir.
Now that the inquiry is finished and the suspect arrested, the officer switches off his camera and escorts the captain back to the police station. Not only was he suspended from his role as Oklahoma police captain, but he also faced the usual penalties for DUI, likely including a modest fine and several months in jail. On July 29, 2020, a Louisiana officer stopped a car for driving too fast on the highway. It began like any routine traffic stop, but a search of the car revealed something terrifying.
Sarge, there's a dead body in the trunk.
Mitchell was not only driving nearly 20 miles per hour above the speed limit, but he also lacked a valid driver's license.
Do you have your driver's license? No, sir. Do you have a driver's license? No, sir.
This offense by itself could earn him penalties of up to $500 and half a year behind bars, not to mention the cost from the speeding citation. Unknown to the officer, Mitchell would be returning with more than just a traffic ticket.
Is there any weed in the car, man? Don't stop. Step here. Is there any weed in the car? Yes or no?
Just a bit me in the ashtray, like
Okay.
other than that.
Anything else? When did you puff last? Be honest. Because I'm a drug recognition expert.
About an hour.
The officer is aiming to charge Mitchell with more than just a DUI. 18-year-old speeding in a car like this, reeking of marijuana, signals to the officer that there could be more to this stop than just a teen driving too fast. But before he requests to inspect the vehicle for additional substances, Mitchell begins to behave more and more suspiciously.
Alright, where are you headed right now?
I was headed back home.
Where's home? What's your address? No, stop. Come here. Where do you live? It's easy. It's easy to answer this. Where do you live? You don't know how to drive to your house?
I was coming from
So what's the address? You don't know your address?
there.
Okay, come back here. Can I take a look at your car? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Mitchell has now agreed to the inspection of his car. The officer is genuinely only looking for marijuana or any other possible narcotics inside the vehicle, but he has no clue what he's truly about to uncover. A check of the front seats reveals nothing, but while inspecting the exterior of the car, the officer finds several bullet holes along the left side of the vehicle. It's growing increasingly clear to the cop that something is seriously off here, and this suspect was probably involved in something far larger than he initially thought.
When did all this happen? When did all that happen?
That happened.
When?
He said,
How long ago? Days?
yeah, like,
Okay, come back. Just leave this here. Come back here. Just stay right here in front of my car. Hey, it's Jesse again. I'm sorry to bother you. I got this car speeding 73 and a 55. It's a black and orange Camaro. And it's got like 3 bullet holes in the left side of it. He said he thinks his brother said his car was in something 2 nights ago.
The officer's verification of the vehicle turns up nothing except evidence that Mitchell is being dishonest. His listed address comes back as entirely different from what he's claiming, and the car is registered under a completely different last name.
Now he says he lives in Winsboro, but he's got a Richwood address, and the car comes back out of Monroe, and he's got this he's got a GPS thing put in, but he don't even know the address, so he's lying about a bunch of junk. Where do you live? Be honest to me. Monroe? Richwood. You don't live in Winsboro. Why would you try to bluff me on that? Why would you lie to me on that? Because I already knew that before this guy said something. What's up? Talk to me. You better stop lying to me right now, or you're going to be in jail.
I'm just going to my sister's out
To your sisters? That's the last freaking lie you better tell me.
This entire scenario is already incredibly baffling, but then out of nowhere, something even stranger occurs. A totally unknown man arrives at the scene, insisting that his relatives have been searching for him.
Okay, well, I got somebody pulling up behind me, scooter. What do you mean they were looking for him?
They looking for him. The car missing. Hey.
Okay, give me the phone. Hey, man, he's not giving that name, though. He's giving another name.
And when they provide yet another name different from Mitchell's and the vehicle owners, the officer is understandably baffled. This has escalated from a simple traffic stop to a complete mystery, and the officer is set on uncovering the truth.
There's a kid that's been reported missing, and that they took the car from Monroe, and he lied to me about his last name, his address, and where he's from. Random guy pulls up behind me and said, hey, this guy's looking for that kid. I need to know if this car has been reported missing, stolen. I know he's BSing to me about where he's going. He says he's going to his sister's house down here. If you could, hey, talk to him, see if you can figure out if the sister thing is legit. He said this guy gave him the car. He's got the GPS on his phone on the back lid. He said that's where he's going, and I knew he was lying then.
Slowly, things are beginning to make more sense. If Mitchell is being honest, it appears his brother allowed him to drive a car that was stolen from the original owner. That still doesn't explain the bullet holes, why Mitchell lied about his residence, or why the random man showed up looking for him, knowing he was behind the wheel of that car. And now, on top of everything else, the officer has just been informed over the radio that there's a missing person report tangled up in this chaos.
What I'm being told is that the boy who gave him permission to use the car is missing. So he's lying his ass off. Go looking for the person who owns the car, find out that the son of the owner of the car is missing. And now we got bullet holes all in the car. So something's bad. The only thing he lied about was his address in Winsboro. If he's knows something about this boy that's missing, bullet holes, I'd like to at least, I guess I'll do as much good contact as I can.
A few more calls are placed, and it's revealed that the missing person is Michael Robinson, the supposed brother of the young man at the scene and the individual who allowed him to drive the car today. However, it remains uncertain who the original owner of the vehicle is. The officer decides to set that question aside for now and take another look at the car, now that backup has arrived.
Like, this looks close. Like bam, 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 bam. Yeah. See?
Little did he realize this is where all his questions would be resolved at once in the most brutal way conceivable.
I'm gonna do the obvious thing I want to do. Hey. Yep. Put your hands up. Put your hand behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. You have a right to an attorney. Have one present during any questioning. At any time you choose not to make any statements or answer any questions. You understand? If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you by the court. Do you understand?
Inside the trunk lay the corpse of Michael Robinson, and suddenly, everything falls into place.
26 is 125-03057, 125-0357. F39 Trip F desk.
Good.
Need a supervisor out here. Alright, I get the guy out. He's super nervous. He lies to me about his address. He's got no driver's license. He says he's going to his house in Winsboro. Well, I find out he lives in Richwood. I pop the trunk. Sorry, there's a dead body in the trunk. Okay, so I'm not. We blocked in front of the car and behind the car. We've shut the trunk. I have Franklin Parish Sheriff's Office with me. We're at 82. Okay, we're done.
It turns out Michael Robinson had no relation to Mitchell whatsoever. Instead, he was simply an accidental victim of an armed robbery that Mitchell was involved in earlier.
Who is that? Who is that? Who is who?
That's Mike.
That's Mike. How did Mike get there? Tell me.
It wasn't me, man. It was.
Okay.
I just hit him, bro. I did.
You just hit him?
I did.
In the chaos of the robbery, Mitchell fired multiple shots at Robinson with a handgun before placing him in the trunk and driving him to Winsboro to dispose of the body. But, of course, before he could reach his destination, he was stopped by the officer for speeding. Michael Mitchell faces charges for the armed robbery and the second-degree murder of Michael Robinson. Mitchell is currently awaiting trial but is anticipated to receive a life sentence behind bars.
Police are meant to serve and safeguard us, but what happens when wrongdoers impersonate officers to exploit that authority? In this video, we'll examine 3 instances of this, beginning with Jackson Jones, who was stopped after authorities got reports of a suspicious officer forcefully interrogating strangers throughout the area.
Do you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? A gun or anything like that?
I don't even have a gun. Okay. I'm 19 years old. If this is going to cause problems, the truck's over there. I'm just going to take out the vest, and I'm from Tennessee. So,
Why are you wearing the vest?
Well, like I said, I drove from all the way from Tennessee.
Jones claims he's from Tennessee, more than 500 kilometers from where he was stopped in Oklahoma, so it's odd that he's still wearing full police attire, especially since he's off duty, and the officers find it suspicious as well.
Why do you wear a vest outside of the facility? Is this an agency vehicle, or is this your personal vehicle?
This is my vehicle.
It's just a little odd, because whenever I worked in the jail, I took my crap off, especially if I was taking a long drive from Tennessee. You got any kind of employment identification?
Dude, they don't give me that when you work at the jail.
Really? You don't have like an access card or an ID badge or anything for the facility that you work at?
I don't.
When Jones can't provide any credentials to verify he's part of law enforcement, the officers grow highly suspicious. Not only was he dressed in a police outfit, but he was also stopping civilians and harshly interrogating them. The officers know something is off about this man, they just need to uncover what he's up to and, more importantly, why.
And you don't have a gun with you or anything like that?
You can search the car. I don't.
You don't mind if I search the car?
I don't think it's
Okay, cool. Step on out if you don't mind. Face the vehicle. I'll just check you for, make sure you don't have any guns or nothing.
As Jones exits the vehicle, it's clear he's wearing a complete police uniform, including handcuffs. Even if Jones is a correctional officer in Tennessee, as he says, he has no authority to detain individuals in public. Everything suggests that something is seriously off here, so since Jones has given consent, the officer opts to perform a thorough search of the car.
We'll just check everything out. If everything's good, then we'll go on. One empty bottle, one partially missing bottle, and then 2 more to go, and it was a pack of 6. Just all kinds of red flags, man. I would not drive from Tennessee with a vest carrier on.
No.
Or even a duty belt on.
As soon as I get off, I take that shit off. Yeah. Just, I'm tired of being in it.
I hate driving from Topgolf to my house with this shit on.
The officer escorted Jones to his squad car while he wrapped up the search, and Jones used this moment to further demonstrate just how out of touch with reality he truly is.
Why don't we go have a seat in my Tahoe? We'll have a seat in my Tahoe. No, back seat.
Requesting to sit in the front seat suggests that Jones genuinely thinks these officers are simply his buddies and colleagues, reinforced by the fact that he's wearing a thin blue line hoodie, a kind of law enforcement pride emblem that reflects how strongly Jones identifies with his claimed role. But then, the officers ask to speak with his superior, something that should quickly verify whether Jones is telling the truth. However, it doesn't go quite as planned.
Where'd you get the vest carrier from? Did you order it online?
No.
From a friend, or
I didn't get it out.
bought it at a store?
It's a police store over there in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
You can only be a law enforcement to get it. I bought it like 4 months ago. You can take all this stuff from me and keep me out of jail.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, I bought all this stuff. None of that stuff was given to the
Give me your phone back.
Like I said, I'm not see GPS.
Alright, cool. 423-494. Yes, this is Deputy Mike Hansen with the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office. I'm out on a individual saying he works for Campbell County Sheriff's Office by the name of Jackson Jones. You'll give me a call back, 405-869. So it went to a voicemail, so that's like not an official work number.
The number Jones provided was bogus, or at the very least, not linked to a legitimate police agency. He was either counting on the officers giving him the benefit of the doubt when it went to voicemail, or hoping he could persuade someone to return the call and impersonate a superior. Regardless, the plan failed, and the final blow came when the witness he had pulled over arrived at the scene and completely blew his cover.
He was dressed like a cop. They had sheriff written on the side right there. He was sitting in a driveway, and I stared for about 10 minutes and staring at him, and I'm like, who is this guy? It's kind of odd. He's in our neighbor's driveway. He gets out, and I said, "Hey, sir." He's like, "Well, I was wondering what was your problem? You were staring at me over in the driveway." And I said, "Yeah, I was kind of curious who you was. I lived down the road. I was kind of see what's going on." He goes, I'm a undercover cop. Well, I got a call, I gotta let you go. And then he left. And then when he left, he came towards the Turnpike Bridge. And he took the U-E and was trying to pull another car, and he started flashing his lights at him.
Really?
And I didn't know if they pulled over or not, but he was flashing his lights like he was trying to pull him over.
Not only did the witness confirm that Jones appeared to be illegally stopping anyone who crossed his path, but he also informed the officer that Jones claimed to be a cop from Wilson, a town in Oklahoma, completely different from Knoxville, where he told the officers he was employed. As far as the authorities were concerned, that was sufficient cause to take him into custody, and they promptly returned to the patrol vehicle to place him under arrest.
Alright, turn around and face the other way. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for impersonating law enforcement, alright? And then you also have a charge for transporting an open container.
The punishment for pretending to be a police officer ranges from 1 to 3 years in prison, and he'll likely receive a minor fine for the open container violation as well. But most significantly, Jones is now off the streets. The only reason someone like him would ever pose as law enforcement is simply because they crave the sense of power and control it provides. If someone is willing to deceive so boldly to gain that power, there's no telling what they might do with it, and that was exactly the concern officers had with Daniel Nelson. Police discovered him beside a fully equipped vehicle that closely mimicked a squad car, complete with flashing lights and insignias, claiming it was actually a local law enforcement vehicle. Nelson stated that he conducts patrols as a church-affiliated officer, assisting homeless individuals by checking in on them and making sure they're safe, but the authorities sensed that something wasn't right.
This guy's gave me his card, but see if you can try to grab a VIN on it for me while I'm talking to him. He works for a church. There's no plate on it. I just noticed. I mean, I noticed before after you talked to me that there was no plate on it, but he's got a dog in there. Just be aware.
If y'all here, something happened.
Oh, I'm here on a separate entity. I'm not a part of that.
Oh, but something happened. You say it's a dude.
Yeah, I'm here for something else, but
yeah, but I'm just saying.
They're their own.
Nelson claims he was dispatched to check on a homeless individual who might have been in distress, but after speaking with the man, he determines that everything is fine and prepares to leave. Before he goes, however, the officer asks for his date of birth, saying they just want to record his details for their list of local law enforcement personnel not affiliated with the official police department. In truth, the officers used his name and birthday to run a background check and obtain his home address so they could dig deeper the following day.
Yeah. Hang over here, I'm gonna check. I could hear him in there talking to his dogs.
Even though no one responded at the door, the counterfeit police vehicle was parked outside the residence, the dogs were inside, and they could hear him speaking to the animals. Most notably, it was 6 in the morning, and the officers were nearly certain Nelson was inside but chose not to respond to the police. However, what happened next was completely unexpected. The same day, Nelson voluntarily surrendered himself at the police station.
You decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present. You have the right to stop the questioning and remain silent at any time you wish, and the right to ask for it, have a lawyer at any time you wish, including during the questioning. Do you understand each of these rights? Yeah. Say yes. Yes.
What followed was a 20-minute questioning session during which Nelson appeared entirely disconnected from reality. At no time did he acknowledge that his actions were illegal, and whenever confronted with a problem, he replied that he was a servant of God, acting on his behalf.
Never once in 10 years have I associated myself with being a police officer. It's never changed. Never.
I'm just telling you, our witness says you did it at least twice.
Twice?
You identified yourself as a police officer twice while you were talking to him. He said you identified yourself, and that's the only reason he stopped to speak with you.
So at this point,
He said he felt it was odd that you would stop him while walking.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right, but why would you stop to talk to somebody at 3 in the
Because he
morning?
matched the description of somebody I was meeting. Backpack, same everything I told you.
Yeah, you told me it was a white subject that was your...
See that with this whipping on. I've never once in my entire career of doing this for a decade, devoted to God, have ever made that statement.
Okay.
This was the story Nelson stuck to throughout the entire questioning, that he worked for God and the church and was simply there to assist people. But with the witness testimony and the patrol vehicle equipped with sirens and lights, the police didn't believe a word. That, however, brings up another question. If Nelson wasn't genuinely trying to protect people at 3 a.m., what was he doing interacting with them? It's probably for the best that he'll spend at least a year in a Wisconsin state prison. These last 2 suspects were so lost in their delusions that they impersonated officers without any real law enforcement experience. But the situation is different for Jared's and Mackey, a man who had been dismissed from the force but decided to take matters into his own hands.
Hey, partner. Hi. Hey, I'm Officer Park with the Akron Police Department.
How are you?
The only reason why I'm pulling you over, I guess y'all were, well, that's my chief of police right there. He saw y'all go around traffic. He was trying to figure out who y'all were with or what was going on.
The officers observed Mackey using his lights and weaving through traffic, something genuine police are prohibited from doing, especially in suspicious vehicles not officially registered with the police department.
I'm off-duty hero operator.
Oh, off-duty hero operator?
How you doing, Chief?
I'm off duty operator. I just work at Osprey Detail. That's my ID. That's my badge.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. This is my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all these emergency lights? And did I see you use an emergency light, pull out into traffic like that?
Oh no, because I couldn't get chief. You notice that's a standstill. So I flashed the lights so people could see me that I was trying to get in the line.
Who do you work for?
This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
Oh no, sir, I'm not impersonating, sir.
Mackey asserts that he is an off-duty hero or highway emergency response operator, responsible for clearing roads and restoring normal traffic flow after accidents. However, his vehicle should be registered with the Georgia Department of Transportation rather than in his name, which immediately raises concerns for the police chief, especially upon learning that he was weaving through traffic while off-duty.
ID on you?
Yes, sir. If you look in the front,
I see red lights. I saw red lights when you pulled out.
Yeah, that's sir. That's when it activated to the back.
Yeah. Where's your ID?
Right, yes, chief. No.
Do you have a lighting permit for the vehicle?
Yeah, right down the glass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Be right back with you, okay? There's your ID back.
Thank you.
Look, given with all the light and permit and stuff that I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, the use of those are for strictly business purposes. You can't be using it pulling the traffic, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to issue a citation for unlawful operation for emergency vehicle, okay?
I want to verify your employment, and I'm probably going to have CID look into this, to be honest with you, to see what you're doing.
I know, Chief.
I don't feel good.
Chief.
Of course, it's great.
Chief, I can show you my LLC. I can show you my LLC right now.
I'll let them handle it.
Mackey received a citation for the illegal use of an emergency vehicle and was released temporarily. However, when the officers returned to the station and checked with GDOT, they found out Mackey had been a hero operator but was terminated in January, 6 months prior. He had kept his badge and permits and knew exactly what to say to convince the officers he was authorized to operate the vehicle. Fortunately, these officers were too sharp to be fooled, and Mackey was arrested for impersonating a police officer 2 days later.